Hello grillers. Today we're gonna do something, or tonight, we're gonna do something a bit different than what we usually do. We are going to make pizza dough. This is my sous chef Charlie here. She's wearing a pug mask because she wants to. Also, why not? And we are using Tasty's recipe in their video, The Best Homemade Pizza You'll Ever Eat. All right, so let's get started. First, we are going to make the yeast mix. This is just some warm water, 2.5 cups of warm water, just lukewarm.
Okay.
Just make sure it's not cold. Then I added 1 teaspoon of sugar, and this is the magic ingredient that makes this all work, yeast. We're using active dry yeast, and if you get a close-up here, you can see what it really is. It's actually a type of animal, and it's alive. That's why you keep it in a jar in the fridge. It'll last for months. Anyway, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of the yeast into that mixture. 1, 2, and give it a quick stir. Now the yeast kind of needs to reactivate, and we're gonna leave that over there for about 5 minutes. It's already bubbling, as you can see. And we are going to need a really big bowl. This has 7 cups of flour in it, and we are going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Plop that in there, and then we mix.
With hands.
Yeah, because I washed my hands. Oh, taking off the pug mask. And we'll wait for the yeast to bloom. This should take about 5 minutes. All right, as you can see here, our yeast has bloomed. It's been about 5 minutes, and if you zoom in here, you can see all these little bubbles. That is the CO2 that the yeast is exhaling, kind of. And we're just gonna give that a quick stir. Take out our flour. Charlie, would you like to add the oil? This is 6 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, but we ran out of extra virgin olive oil, so we just used the rest in grapeseed oil. That's the green stuff. It's tasteless, so it shouldn't really show a big difference. We are going to add in our yeast mixture, and then use our spoon to kind of try to hydrate as much of the flour as possible. And that's going to take a couple seconds. I know, I'm showing them.
No, your head is in the way.
Oh, sorry if my
my
head was in the
God.
way. A little bit of flour went flying. I'm going to go in with my hand here. I've washed it again, don't worry. We're just going to keep folding the dough, grabbing little bunches and folding it. That extra flour flying around there should get all the liquidy parts nice and calmed down. And when you're pretty confident that you're not going to have flour or water or oil everywhere, you're going to, pardon me, sprinkle a bit of flour on a surface, be pretty generous, and dump it out. Then this is really a fun part. We are going to start kneading. Take all that extra dough, and here's the motion. You fold, and then you press down with your palm. Turn, fold, press down with your palm. Turn, fold, press down with your palm. And you just repeat that for about 10 minutes and grab all that flour. If it starts getting sticky or you see a sticky spot, put more flour. See you in 10 minutes. So what we're doing while we're kneading is we're building up all sorts of gluten. If you ever feel like, hey, this is an arm workout, or it's starting to kind of bounce back and resist your pushing, that's gluten building up in the dough, and that's what we're really going for. Bread relies on gluten to kind of have structure, unlike pastries and cakes, which use eggs, which is another kind of protein. And it's really a beautiful thing to see a dough come alive in your hands. Kneading and no, we're not doing that. Anyway, we can cut that out. After kneading and making, Charlie, None of it at all. I'm talking. Anyway, after kneading and making the dough in general, you tend to have a bit of a mess. This is a dramatization, but anyway, I'm just gonna show you how effective a bench scraper is. You basically just hold the thing and it scrapes against the table and picks up all those flour bits right off the thing. So we have our dough fresh from kneading. Well, not very fresh because we cleaned up, but we are going to show you how to make it in a cute little ball so it can rise. This is going to make it so that the yeast, it'll nearly double in size because it eats the sugar of what's left in the dough in the water mixture, and it creates CO2 and I think a few other gases, but mainly CO2, and that's what makes the dough get all these amazing bubbles, and it's great. So you basically do the kneading, but you're going to want to kind of bring it onto one point so you can use your palms, to shape it into this cute little ball shape so it's nice and smooth and round on top. We are going to take a bit of a smaller bowl, but still a big bowl. I'm going to put some oil in there. Any sort of oil really works. And we are going to grease the bottom and sides of the bowl. Our hand works. It's fine. Then we're gonna grease the dough with what's left on our hand. Plop it in there. I'm gonna wipe my hands off real quick. And then we grab cling wrap. And Charlie, I'll do one. You can do the other. You could put a towel on top of it, but I like cling wrap because it's a bit easier. And you're basically going to want to create an almost airtight seal to at least slow the intake of air. We'll be right back because this is a bit of a struggle. Why can I not speak English today? Let this dough rest or rise for 1 hour, at least 1 hour. You could do up to 24 hours, but minimum is 1 hour, and that's what we're gonna do. Hey. Alright, it's been an hour, so let's uncover this. I've touched it a little bit to make sure it's, not a monster. I'm gonna take some flour, dust this beautiful clean surface, boo-hoo, and take the dough out. It's nice and soft, and it's just a completely different feel. What we're gonna do is we're kind of gonna bring a little bit of resistance back into the dough by kneading it very briefly, just so we can kind of get this nice smooth shape back. I'm gonna quick grab a towel, pardon me for a moment. There we are.
And what's this for? How many pizzas do we expect to get out of this dough?
You can make 4 really good sized pizzas, or if you're using a thinner crust, you can make up to 8 pizzas. We are just going to cut this with an ordinary knife into halves. I'm gonna use a better knife. 1 moment, please. There we are. Cut those halves into halves. Now we have fourths. And you can cut those fourths into halves if you wish to make 8 pizzas, but we are going to do just 4. And these 4 things, you can put them in plastic wrap, or if you really are good at stuff, you can do other things, but these are good freezable, really, really well, for up to 4 months. And if you're going to use them in the short term, you can just pop them in the fridge and, well, just